Let me do this. There we go. So, guys, welcome aboard. Thanks for jumping in, Freedom Team. We do this every Tuesday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, every week. The first Tuesday of every month, it's just an open-ended mastermind. The rest of the time, we usually have a topic of some sort. We dig in and open it up for some Q&A, some interaction, masterminding that goes along here. So, if you're a guest with us from a different company, a lot of us are with EXP, but if you're a guest, you're welcome every week. We do this. This is not an EXP pitch at all. It's just a way to help us all grow in our businesses and take our businesses to the next level. So if you do have any background noise, we'll kind of monitor this as we go, but just be mindful of your microphones and stuff. We will pick up everything. So you can turn on your mics when we open it up for discussion. A couple quick reminders as far as with our schedule. I know coming up here the last Wednesday of the month. What's that date, Kim, that we're interviewing Glenn? We got that
the 31st.
31st of this month. It's the last Wednesday, I believe, of August. Eric Golden is going to be interviewing Glenn Sanford. If you're not with EXP, Glenn is the founder of EXP. So I'm excited about that. That'll be a great interview to participate in and sit in on and listen to some of Glenn's stuff. Anyway, some great things going on here for sure. So anyway, Jamie Parker. Jamie is going to lead us today. You're in Atlanta. Is that right, Jamie?
Yes, sir.
Yep. So anyway, been with EXP here for a while. He's hit the top status of EXP, that icon agent 3 times, which congratulations on that. A lot of production going on there. And I think, one of the things I love this topic because I don't know, you see these books all over here. It's all about me working on this up here because so much of what we get, good or bad, comes from how we think. This 6-inch space between our ears can determine a whole bunch of stuff. And so I know Jamie's going to be talking some about that here along the way. You kind of get what you think you're going to get, good or bad. So anyway, always room to grow and work on the way we think. So Jamie, why don't you introduce yourself and take it away? Okay. Appreciate you getting on here. Thank you so much.
No problem. Appreciate the invitation.
Sure.
Good morning, everybody, wherever you're at. It's still morning time here in Atlanta. I've been in real estate for 15 years, and I started out as a part-time real estate agent. So I started out as a school teacher. So I taught school for 17 and a half years, did real estate part-time for 7 of those 17 and a half years. Sold 23 houses my last year teaching and kind of figured it was probably time to kind of hang it up and stop working that full-time job. And I just never looked back since, probably averaging about 50 plus homes a year since I retired from teaching. And it's been an awesome journey. To this point, real estate has been amazing for me. And this morning, what we're going to, I'm going to share my screen here. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, this can be a little unconventional. You're like, okay, today's the day we're supposed to learn about how to sell more real estate, right? Right. I mean, so you're probably expecting, okay, we're going to give you all these amazing lead gen tools and all these. Okay. Well, here's the thing. When you can have all those tools, the best tools are the ones you actually use, right? And so, but what we're going to give you the tool, the most powerful tool. The most powerful tool is right here. That is the most powerful tool. Okay. Because if we don't have this right, who's going to know, like, love, and trust you with the biggest purchase they've ever made in their life? If you're trying to grow your company, if you're trying to grow your business, what other real estate agents want to come work with you? So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how to grow you and how to love yourself into production. So let me do the screen share here. Hopefully I'm sharing the right thing here and we will get rolling. There we go. I'm going to hit play, slideshow, and away we go. So we'll get past let me just flip past the housekeeping that EXP makes us do. All right, so here's what we're going to cover today. We are going to cover these areas. Okay, so there's a lot of areas. We're going to cover 9 different areas in this class this morning. Okay, and if we will focus on these areas and we work on some of these areas each day, I promise your production will get better. I promise you're going to sell more real estate. I promise it's going to help your personal life, whatever's going on with you personally. So this is what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to start out with self-care. So we're going to talk about fitness and health and fun. We're going to talk about mental mindset. We're going to talk about your morning routine, your gratitude, and your vision. We're going to talk about your past and your present. And we'll probably camp out there just a little bit more than we camp out on the other things, because there's a lot to unpack there. But your past and your present, baggage and forgiveness in the journey. Okay, so those are the things we're going to talk about. We're going to rock all this out. Hopefully, I won't spend as long as I may normally spend like in an icon class in the EXP world, but we'll go ahead and rock through these, and then we'll make sure we open it up at the end for Q&A. Okay, so let's start with self-care. Okay, so one of the things that we want to do is we want to start your self-care early and get it knocked out. Well, what does that mean? So for me, that means I hired a personal trainer. Okay, and I hired a personal trainer about 2 years ago, and I have noticeable results. In fact, I just saw a picture of myself 5 years ago, and compared to what I look like now, and I'm like, oh my gosh, is that like even the same person? It's like pretty crazy. So starting early and knocking out, getting a trainer, and to get those noticeable results. Because if you actually do the work, you will see the transformation in your body. You will see the transformation in your mind. It's not about looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's about being healthy. And if you're healthy in your body, you'll be healthy in your mind. It'll help your mind to be healthy as well. And if you're healthy in your body and your mind, guess what? You're probably going to attract into your business what it is that you're looking for. Okay. There'll be other people that are like-minded, and guess what? Guess who goes to the gym? Successful people who have lots of money. I know at my gym, I've seen McLarens at the gym. I've seen Ferraris at the gym. I've seen, Corvettes and Porsches are pretty regular at the gym. Those people have money. Go work out with them. Go talk to them. Go network with them, and you never know what's going to happen. So let's talk about your health. So we talked about that part. So your health is your wealth. Who cares if you make $500,000 a year and you're sick all the time? Okay, really, if you're sick all the time, but yet you make $400,000 or $500,000 a year, what good does it do? It's nothing. Your health is your wealth. So you have to invest in your health. What does investing in your health mean? Okay, so investing in your health could be massages. I'm actually due for a massage. I actually need to go get one. I need to actually do what I'm actually saying in here. It's been probably about 6 or 7 weeks since I've had one. So massages, I went to a workshop, and there was a lady that came up and talked about health and wellness. And she works really with some older clientele, all that were in the 90s and even close to 100. And they all had one thing in common. The one thing they had in common is they got once a month massages. That's a clue, guys. Once a month massages. If you've never had one, go get one. They're amazing. And it releases all these toxins and stuff out of your body. Okay, so go find one. Chiropractic. I believe in chiropractic. You don't have to spend $1 gazillion on. I go to a place that does maintenance. It's like $50 a month for 4 adjustments a month. You just pay month by month. It's one of those places. If you're hurt, it's probably not the place to go if you're like super hurt, but for maintenance, it's perfect. Okay. And then drinking the right kinds of water. I do give a disclaimer. I was drinking too much alkaline water, and it actually caused health problems instead of helping. So be careful that you don't do too much of the alkalinity, but that does help. So let's go to the next one. Oops. So let's go to fun. Why do we do what we do? Well, what is fun? It's so important for you to have a reason to do what you do. Okay, so do we just want to sell real estate to make a living? Or do we have like some bigger plan? I mean, real estate, we got into real estate because we didn't want the job. Job stands for just over broke, right? So we didn't want the job anymore. So we got into real estate. But we have to know why we're doing it, like what we're doing. So hope isn't a plan, but it will keep you motivated. So I don't know what motivates you. For me, it's travel, like hands down travel. For everything else is kind of secondary to that. So for me, when I plan a trip or plan a vacation, that keeps me going. If I know I have something coming up, that keeps me going. For you, it could be sports events. It could be going on fancy dinners. It could be going on a scenic drive. It could be going and renting a Ferrari and driving around the track. Yeah, it's like $500 to do that for, for 15 minutes. But still, I mean, why not? When if you don't ever plan on buying a Ferrari, why not just go ahead and try one? Here in Atlanta, we have the Porsche experience, and from $400 to $1,000, you can spend 2 hours on the track with any Porsche you want. Why not? That may not be your thing, but those are things that are worth, those are experiences. So for me, it's all about the experiences. I don't care about driving a Lamborghini, a Porsche, Ferrari, having a yacht, having a jet. I really don't care. But what I do care about is having amazing experiences, because those are things my kids will always remember. They won't remember what I got them for Christmas last year, but they will remember 5 years ago when we went to Guatemala to build a school. They will remember that. They do remember that, but they can't tell me, what kind of shoes they got for Christmas last year or what kind of technology they got. So those are the things that kind of keep me going. So let's switch gears now over to mental mindset. So your morning routine, what do you do when you wake up? You wake up and check your phone. Wrong answer. You wake up. So when I wake up, this is what I do. I'm not even out of bed yet. Okay. Like I'm still in bed, and I'm just like, I just say, this is for me. I'm a spiritual person. So this for me is, thank you, Lord. Thank you, God, for waking me up. Thank you, Lord. And I'll just do it over and over again. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord, for taking care of me. Or maybe think of a song that means something to me. And those are kind of like my first thoughts in the morning. Okay. Then I'll have, a quiet time. Quiet time focuses on positivity and helps me to figure out areas of focus. Now, if you're not a spiritual person, your quiet time could be reading a book. Well, it could be reading like Think and Grow Rich or Rich Dad, Poor Dad or something. You could spend 15, 20 minutes reading that. You could spend time reading a biography of somebody. Those are always helpful to see someone else's journey and how you can learn what you could take away from there. If you are spiritual, for me, I do devotionals and I do Bible studies and typically do them with somebody else. So I'll do my study, leave my notes. They'll do their study, they'll leave their notes, and it gives us good interaction with each other. So those are some things that I do, and they help to keep me focused. And of course, part of that morning routine is usually working out. So that's why I hire the trainer. I realize a lot of times if I don't have the trainer on those days I'm supposed to go in on my own, it can get a little bit challenging because I'm not paying for anybody. I love going to the gym, don't get me wrong, but that paying and that pain point of paying definitely gets me there and keeps it on my schedule, and it allows me to not put it off just because I get busy with something else. So gratitude is what turns what we have into enough. So journaling, at the end of the day, 5 things that you're thankful for that day, or the beginning of the day, whichever you want. Okay. Sharing the love, so when you're grateful, you share. When you're grateful, you're going to share what you're grateful for. You're going to share your blessings with other people. Sometimes you're just going to be the blessing. You're going to be that person that person needed to hear today. So do you get up and like, oh my gosh, who am I going to impact today? Are you really grateful for what you've been given? Here's the thing. We live in the US. I think all of us here live in the US. We're in the top 1% already of the world, and some of us are in the top 1% of that 1%. That's a blessing. And how many other people are you going to help to bless along the way? Okay, that was one of the things that one of my mentors told me. She's happens to be the EXP agent as well. But she said, how dare you not share the blessing that I shared with you? Boom, that was like hitting me across the head. I always remember that. It was probably like 10 years ago. And so all of these things allow you to have inner peace. Okay, so it is possible to have inner peace and still have the outer abundance. Okay. but you have to work on these things to create the inner peace so you can have the outer abundance. Okay. So let's keep moving. So vision board, a wise man once said, a man perishes without it. If you can see it, you can believe it. All right, so my girlfriend and I, we actually did this back at the end of December, beginning of January. We actually made our vision board for the year. All right. And here is what's really cool. So we made this vision board. This is how I chose to do my board. It took me about 3 hours to put this together. And look at that picture where family is, where it says family, it's in your right. It should be on the right part of your screen. So quadrant number 4. So that picture with the sun going over the mountain and everything, that's pretty cool. And I recently just got back from Hawaii. Yeah, not too long ago, maybe about a month or 2 ago. And I was going through my pictures. I'm like, oh, you got to be serious. That picture, which I got out of some magazine, I don't even know where I came from, to be honest with you. I actually took that picture in Hawaii. No kidding. That almost the identical picture. And I looked at that, I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like, I didn't even know it until I looked through the pictures and then looked back at my vision board. So that picture I put on my vision board actually came true. And right above it, it says Dream Girl. I got that too. So you understand what I'm saying? You've got to have the vision for what you want to do in your life. I was reading the biography of Phil Knight, who founded Nike. And the house he drew when he was a kid is the actual house he moved into. He found a drawing of the house he lives in now that he drew when he was like 8 or 10 years old. Seriously. So, and there are all sorts of examples like that. So if you don't have a vision board, do the vision board. Then screenshot it to your phone so you can look at it. Okay, it'll help you. All right, so we've talked about health and wellness. We've talked about mental mindset. All right, so now here's where we're going to camp out. And I am trying to truck through this as quickly as we can so we have plenty of time for questions afterwards. Okay, so the past and the present, and this will spend the majority of our time on this here. Okay, so baggage. We need to leave home without it. This is not American Express where you don't want to leave home without it. Leave home without it. Leave your baggage where it belongs, which is in your past. Because your baggage is going to weigh you down. It's going to destroy your peace, and it's going to sabotage your vision. So let's think about what we're talking about here. Now, I'm going to be totally honest and totally transparent with you. Okay. So we all know, for most of us, for a lot of us, 2020 was kind of a hard year, right? Right. COVID, everything changed, right? Would that be pretty accurate for everybody? We know that 2020 was kind of challenging. Well, for some of us, it was more challenging than others. So I can tell you that in 2020, I had my best year by units. 62 as a solo agent by units. But what if I told you it was one of the worst years personally ever? Okay, so I'm going to be really open and honest with you guys. So in 2020, within the period of about 3 months, I had a lot of life change that happened all at the same time. Okay, so the first thing that happened is my wife of 25 years decided she did not want to be married anymore. She left me with the kids. She said, I'm out of here. So now I'm a single dad. That happened like August of 20. 2 weeks later, I had a major car accident. I got hit by an Escalade while I was showing houses. About 2 weeks after the divorce was final. I walked away without a scratch. $17,000 worth of damage to my car, but I walked out without a scratch. Okay. Then my dad got COVID and died. He died in October of 20. Then I also own a music store. I bought a music store that was one of my clients. It was one of my first big clients I ever sold. My biggest sale ever while I was still teaching was like $580,000. I sold him this house in this country club community where a lot of athletes live. And so sold him that house back in 2009, and he was ready to sell his business. And so I bought his business. We had a manager that was a family friend. Don't hire your friends, by the way. I've learned that because we're not friends anymore. Ended up having to fire the manager at the same time. And then on one of my rental properties, we had major insurance claim, had to replace the sewer lines, all the piping inside the house, everything. So all this is happening at the same time. And so then in month number 4, we actually sold the house I was married in. And I had to do everything. I really didn't get much help. So literally, I was the real estate agent selling the house. I was doing estate sales. I literally sold everything in the house. Marketed the house, did the whole 9 yards, had to get a loan, then had to close on my other house that I'm in now, all at the same time. So all this within about 3 to 4 month period. And what if I told you my 4th quarter was like one of my best quarters ever in real estate? Like, well, how is that possible? So I'm very thankful for my past clients. I'm very thankful I'll do one plug for EXP. EXP's referral network is off the chain. They kept me busy. In fact, to this day, I get 1 to 2 referrals that I close from other agents around the country just about every month. Just in December of this past year, I closed almost $1 million in referral business from other EXP agents here referring to me in Atlanta. So that has been a huge blessing for me because now I'm a single dad. So now there's no help. I am running my kids here, there, and everywhere, all their sports, what it's like to have 2 teenagers, right? My kids are 16 and 14. And so now I'm having to do all that. And guess what? I still have the freedom to do that. And my daughter's just going to private school now. So now I've got 20 minutes each way, 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back, 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back, twice a day. But guess what? I can use my phone. I can just hang out at the Starbucks. I can, I'm still doing my real estate business and I'm still crushing it. And I'm taking care of my kid. And so when you take care of your family first, everything else works out. So I had a choice at that point. I could roll over and say, the life sucks and this is terrible. Or I was like, okay, how am I going to rise up? So I must have listened to that song by Katy Perry, Rise Up. I don't know how many times I've worn that song out. And there's a part in the song where it talks about the angel armies lifting you up and protecting you. And I was like, man, that's just what I needed to hear. And it just kept me going and kept me going and kept me moving forward. And so, so I don't know what your baggage is. I don't know where you've been. I don't know what's happened in your past. I don't know those things. But I do know that you have a purpose. You're on this call right now for whatever reason you're here. Yeah, you have a reason. And I'm hoping you're gonna be on fire when we're done with this. But you have a reason. I've almost died like 4 times. I've had 2 emergency surgeries. Seriously, 2, not just 1. Most people never even have 1. I've had 2. Where if they didn't do surgery when we got to the emergency room, I wouldn't even be here. Once when I was 22, I had a perforated ulcer. And in 2004, the scar tissue from that entangled my intestine. I've totaled a car when I was 16 and walked away, got hit by the Escalade, walked away. God has a plan for me. He wants me to be doing something big, right? Obviously, I'm still here. By most accounts, I probably shouldn't be here. All right. So you've got to leave all of that stuff behind. So today, your challenge is going to be leave your stuff behind. Leave your past behind and run forward towards the race and finish it. Finish the race that you've been put on. You're sitting on this call. And here's the thing. Most people, when they go to a call like this, they do 0. I'm guilty of it too. How many conferences have you gone to and not implemented anything that you learned at the conference? I've done it. Yeah, I'm seeing some heads go, yeah, I've done it for sure. I'm kind of bad about that, to be honest with you. But going to the conferences, the networking is off the chain. That's my value of been going to the conferences. Okay, so when you go to EXPCon or you go to whatever real estate conference or professional development conference you're going to, the networking is what helps to grow your business. Yeah, you can implement some of the things you're learning there, but for me, it's always been the networking. So that's a little aside. So let's talk about the next step. Forgiveness is a gift to myself. I forgive and I set myself free. So let's camp out on that for a minute. How many times do we go through our life and we don't forgive ourselves for stuff we've done? Now, this is way easier said than done. I mean, it sounds great me talking to you about it right now. It's like, I just got to forgive. Just got to get over it, man. Just get over it. It's happened. Nothing, man, there was even something that happened with me last year. And I'm just like, man, I'm having a hard time. Like, I'm mostly done with it. But I'm just like, man, it's just like, yeah, wow, what was I thinking? And it's just, it wasn't anything horrendous that I did, but it was just something that I've just still got to come to terms with, right? And still got to kind of work through. And so here's how you do that. So one of the things you can do is by journaling. I would self-admit I'm not the biggest journaler. I always say I'm going to get better at it every day. Every time I do this presentation, I say I'm going to get better at it every day. It's hit or miss. Okay. But journaling will help. Okay. If you were consistent about it, you got to find out what your thing is. Okay. Just because everybody else says journaling is their thing, that may not be your thing. Right. But maybe it's reading books. Maybe, I don't know what your thing is. You got to find out what works for you. Okay. But journaling is definitely a good tool that you can use. Grief counseling. Okay. So last summer, I went through grief counseling. And I wasn't like, I was doing great. Real estate's great. I've been a year, a single dad, doing fine. Everything's going great. But I realized it was recommended that I go to actually it was recommended to a friend that they go to grief counseling. It was like, you do it, I'll do it. So I went through this, it's an 8-week course. It's not a spiritual course. It's just a secular. And I went through this 8-week course and it made me think about things I've never thought about before. And actually kept that counselor on as kind of a life coach, not really real estate, but kind of kept her on as I was navigating what this means to date and be a single parent and that kind of thing. And I just kept her on even after the course because we really connected. I really felt like she had value and she really helped me. Anybody wants her name, I'm happy to pass it out. You can private message me. Everything's via Zoom. So let it go. You've got to let go what happened. And I'll tell the story. I'll tell the story that you think about. I think this is a fairly well-known story, but it was King David, right? And he was he should have been at war, but he was sitting on top of his castle and he sees this beautiful woman bathing on the house across from him. He goes, gets the woman, has sex with her, she gets pregnant, and then he basically murders her husband to cover it up. Right? And so, all of these things happen. She has the baby gets sick. And, while the baby is sick and everything, he is on the floor. He doesn't eat for 7 days, 8 days, 10. I don't know how long it was. It was a long time. He didn't eat. He was back in those times, they went in sackcloth when they were mourning and trying to do things. And at the end of it, when the baby finally dies, he's like, okay, I'm ready to eat. And the servants are like, what? You're ready to eat? Wait a minute, your baby just died. Like, what is going on? And he realized, and he said something to the fact like, there's nothing more that I can do. And you never hear it mentioned again. He just moved on. He's like, I did everything that I could have done. And then he was ready to move on and console his wife. And then they eventually would have another baby. Okay. So he had to let it go and learn how to move on. You have to let go whatever's holding you back right now. And you have to move on. Because you know what? Whatever you're not letting go, guess what? That person, if it has to do with a person, They're probably at home laughing right now, watching Netflix and having fun. And you're still thinking about, they did this to me. Has that ever happened to you? I can't get over because such and such is such a you know what, and they did this to me. And one of the things we learned in grief counseling is you never go back and talk to those people again. Like you just, we have some strategies that we use that allow you to forgive and get over it. But because if you go back to that person, they don't even know that they've hurt you, probably. Probably they don't. And then you're kind of asking them permission for you to move on with your life. That's kind of backwards, isn't it? And it's going to definitely affect your happiness. So we have to let these things go so we can move into our purpose. We got to walk in our purpose, right? What is your purpose? I don't know. Brian's is different than mine. Sterling's is different than mine. Elena has a different purpose than me, right? We all have our unique gifts that we've been given. So how are we going to do that? So the last thing we'll go over, let's see if I can get there. Maybe. If it will let me switch slides, will be good. Okay. So the journey. Every journey begins with the first step. So I can tell you this, dating has humbled me quite a bit. And here's what I mean by that. I have an amazing girlfriend for like 9 months now, but it took a little bit to figure out how to do this. And because I felt like, man, I'm great at real estate, I'm personally developed and all this stuff, that's going to just totally translate into the dating scene, right? I have my goals, right? Just like we have our goals in real estate. I mean, I'm going to go for this goal and this is what I want. And yeah, that didn't really work. Okay. So what I realized is I have to enjoy the journey. I wasn't enjoying the journey. I was trying to get to the end result and kind of skip the journey. But it's the journey that makes it fun, right? It's the journey that helps us. So we have to live in the present. Remember, your present is a present. There's somebody that did not wake up today. So what are you going to do with your day today? When you leave this call, which will be done here in a few minutes, when you leave, what are you going to do? Are you going to really view today as being a present? Are you going to use it as the gift that it is? Or are you going to get sidetracked with something else? Make a decision right this second. When I'm off this call, I'm going to do ... I don't know what that ... is for you. It's whatever it is for you. I know I have something scheduled kind of right after this, but that's also a present. So what are you going to do when you get off this call to live today? And you got to take it one day at a time. Yes, do you have to have vision? Absolutely. We have to have vision, right? We have to have vision and about where we're going, okay? But you also got to take it that one day at a time. If we're going to do one step at a time, we got to do one day at a time. And you got to take the first step. You've taken the first step today. Everybody that's on this that's on this Zoom right now has taken a first step towards their future, towards where they want to go. So now we have to inspect what you expect. We all have, hopefully, I'm going to use the word friends and just take that loosely right now. Could be acquaintances, but we all have friends and family members where seems to be, there's chaos and catastrophe happening to them all the time. Do we know people like that? There's always something bad happening to them. You may know some other real estate agents that there's always something bad happening to them. Okay. So it's because they are expecting something bad to happen to them. I don't expect anything bad to happen. I mean, I didn't ask for all that stuff to happen in 2020. Didn't ask for it. I still had a fairly good mental mindset. I was still sold in 21 in 2020, so like 17 million. So obviously my mindset had to be pretty decent, right? But still bad stuff happened to me that particular year. I haven't had anything like that happen since. thank God. But, but I had to inspect what I expected. And every day I have to inspect what I expect for the day. Do I just wake up and just kind of let my day happen to me? Sometimes. Sometimes you're looking for those blessings in the day. Like I don't have a lot this afternoon already, quote unquote, scheduled, but I know good things are going to happen. I already know what my mornings look like. I already kind of know what I've got to do this afternoon, And so I'm going to enjoy the process. Enjoy the process and whatever is going on with you, enjoy it. Don't look at it because it's always an opportunity to grow. Had I not honestly had certain things that happened, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. Because there are certain things in your life that were holding you back from getting to where you need to go. And even though those things seem bad at the time, because those things happen, you're walking more of the purpose that you're meant to walk now. So here's some little homework. You didn't know you were going to get homework. We're like, well, I told you I used to be a school teacher. Sorry, y'all. So there's some homework. And I got permission to use this from Kim and Rob Campbell. I did this exercise with them for the first time in 2011. And they didn't quite create it. This comes from they toured the world with Tony Robbins. So I think I don't know if this comes exactly from Tony Robbins or they modified it or whatever, but I did get permission with Rob and Kim. It's in one of their courses that I took. And so your I am identity power statement. So you'll see there's a list of adjectives, nouns, and action verbs right there, okay? And you're going to create a statement using 3 of each. Now, everybody's 3 is going to be different. Everyone's going to have their things. Everything's going to have things that are going to speak to them, okay? Whatever those things are, they're going to speak to you. You put those things in. Everybody's statement is unique and different. All right, so I'm going to put my statement as this. I, Jamie, am a spiritual, determined, inspirational Christian father and provider that praises God, empowers others, and models excellence. There is mine. Now, it was really interesting because, and I don't have it down here with me, but on one of my adjectives that I had, which are the first 3, those are your adjectives. I, Jamie, am a spiritual, determined, inspirational. Back then, instead of inspirational, I had worthy. And that was in 2011. I was still with that other company. And because I didn't feel like I was worthy. Like, have you ever felt like if anybody really knew what was going on behind the scenes? If anybody really knew what was going on, and nothing was terrible was going on, but I didn't do real estate the way they were teaching me to, but yet I was sitting out there doing what I'm doing now, modeling and teaching and, but I was doing real estate like the way Rob and Kim taught me how to do it because they were successful. And even with a full-time job, I was in the top 5, 10 of the office with a full-time job, and so I always felt kind of like, so I didn't feel worthy of the success that I was having. So I noticed when I went back and looked at something, I was like, whoa, that's like, no. So now I know I'm totally worthy. I know I'm worthy of the success I have. And one of the things I told my girlfriend, I said, I know I'm totally worthy of having a girl like you. Absolutely, unequivocally. I know I deserve, and I know I'm worthy of it. Not arrogantly, but I just know that, she's a blessing for me. I've learned so much from her. And she actually, with this course that we do, she actually helped with it. So speaking of the course, 21-day Love Yourself Challenge, group challenge. If you like what we taught today, this is the only little advertisement, you can PM me. We expand about everything we did in this class. You get daily exercises to do. You enjoy the camaraderie and energy of a group of folks wanting to do better. You can private message me for more information. Okay. So I will put my info in the chat. If that is something you're interested in, great. No pressure, but every time I've done this course for EXP, I have all these agents that want more. They want, how do we get more of this? So I've done this course with church. This is how it came about. I did the course for church. And then my first time I did it back in 21, I had 28 people. My second time I did it in May of 21, I had about 25 people. Then I met Diana. in December of last year, and we were going to launch it again in January. She said, well, I'm going to help you. I said, well, good. You know, we launched. So I put the little advertisement out on the church singles pages. And, you know, after a couple of days, we had about 25 people. So I was like, man, that'd be awesome if we had 50 people. And Diana's like, no, we're not going to have 50 people. We're going to have 100 people. I was like, God, you really seriously 100 people? We're going to 100 people? And I was like, okay, I'm going to go with you. We're going to get 100 people. So January 1st ran around, we got 100 people. By the time 3 or 4 days, she said, well, 100's not good enough. We have to do what Eric Thomas says. We have to do 120. We have to 120 this. I was like, okay, we're going to 120 it. So we're going to get 120. We ended up with 147. We had people from Tanzania to Nigeria to India to Scotland, from all over the world. And this is each video was about 3 to 5 minutes. And then the comments were off the chain. And so then I asked EXP, can I do that? When I had to do the icon courses, I was like, can I do that course? Well, you can't really, there's obviously it was a very spiritual course. So we kind of modified the course for a more secular coaching. And so we did a group a couple months ago. We had one icon, Saber Kofer, and a bunch of her team and a couple other EXP agents. And so we did, Diana and I did the course together. So Diana put all the science behind everything I was doing because she's a therapist. So she put all the science and all the studies and all the stuff behind what I was already doing. So it's pretty cool the way that has ended up being. So I'm obviously a little passionate about it. I feel that's kind of a calling beyond real estate. So I'm going to open it up for questions. Hopefully this has been awesome and helpful to you to help move yourself into production. Because if you implement these things, like all these things I'm telling you, maybe sans the journaling, I will admit I'm not a huge journaler. I would admit. But all of those things that I put on there, those are I do those pretty much every day. So you're talking to an icon agent, and I'm pretty much telling you, what's the secret sauce? I just gave you the secret sauce, and it has nothing to do with buying leads. And it has nothing to do with the latest, whatever. Do you still have to spend some money on marketing? Yeah, I do. I still spend money on marketing. I still do. Yes, I do. Do I still do Facebook ads and Google ads? And yeah, I still do all that stuff. But really, most of my business, a lot of even the Facebook stuff just comes from, I had someone message me this morning. I posted a picture. I did a closing in an active adult community. I used to teach school with her back in 2007. She's reached out to me this morning. She's like, hey, let's talk about, I'm thinking about buying a house in an active adult community, just because she saw me post something that I'd sold a house in an active adult community. That's free, totally free. I didn't have to pay for that. It was just literally, I posted a celebration picture. So there's some lead generation tip right there. That's something super practical. Everybody can do that today. It took me about 1 minute to do that post, and I'm going to probably have $800,000 in production off of that post. Okay. So you kind of get what I'm going. So that may or may not happen to you, but it is possible. So I'll shut up and we'll open it to questions. I guess you could just unmute yourself, or there is a raise your hand thing that you can do. If you go to where reactions at the bottom of the page, there's a part where you can raise your hand, and then we can actually call on you. I can see everybody's name right there. And I think Jeff can as well.
Yeah, for sure. Jamie, first of all, thank you very much. Thanks for sharing all the stuff you shared, man. That's just 2020. That's a year for the books right there.
Yeah, it is.
Holy cow. But you think about as difficult as it was, just the power that can come from that too.
Mm-hmm.
There's the mountaintop test and there's the valley test, and we all go through both of them, and they both have their challenges. And man, there's this, I can see too, it's like Jim Rohn. I've always liked Jim Rohn. I like listening to Jim Rohn, some of his stuff. And, he has one of my favorite quotes of his, success isn't something you pursue. Mm-hmm. It's something you attract by the person you become.
That's right.
And I think there's so much truth in that, in the sense, but we fail to, it's so easy in real estate. We can all get so caught up in the next shiny thing, the next whatever, the lead generation stuff, the next CRM, the next, all that kind of stuff. And again, all good, like you said, you're still spending some money on ads and that kind of stuff. But again, so much of this can come just by us really, truly making the effort and taking the time on a daily basis to work on ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
and to grow in ourselves, because we do get what we think we're going to get. Good or bad. There will be a lot of people that'll get out of the business in the next, 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, whatever, because of the shift. They won't, but again, if they just could work on themselves, they get through it, and you learn how to adjust, and you get around the right people, and we get that, and we all need that encouragement at times. It's one of the best parts about this, and I love this on Tuesday mornings, that collaboration, us all throwing out ideas and working together, in different ways that we do it. But no, some great stuff. I got lots of notes here and lots of things I could talk about, but I do want to open it up. You mentioned the fitness part. I lost 52 pounds last year.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I felt good about that. Yeah, I went down two pant sizes. So anyways.
Wow, that's amazing.
So, and I feel so much better. I just let my 2020, I just let myself go. I was like, geez, and so I just had to get back at it last year. But it's amazing just what even something like that will do. But, you mentioned travel. I was on last night because my wife and I, we love to travel. We haven't traveled as much the last couple of years because of everything. Who likes to travel? I don't see it, showing. Yeah, I will tell you real quick, if you've never been to Europe, okay, right now, flights to Europe, just to put this out there, Travel Zoo is a great website to go to get some good deals. Travel Zoo, Wing Buddy, it's all one word. That's another one. And then Great Value Vacations. I'm just throwing those out there because I found, right now, I will tell you trips. I looked up Denver to Dublin. I'm in Colorado Springs. Denver to Dublin nonstop. Okay, in September I was looking for $545. It's cheaper to go there than it was for me to fly to Orlando 2 weeks ago. And international flights right now, depending on where you're going, Ireland has really low airport taxes. Just so you know, I know this because we've traveled a lot. It's an easy place to get to right now. And if you've never been to Ireland, I will tell you that right there. It's unbelievably beautiful over there, and they speak English. You got to drive on the opposite side of the road, the opposite side of the car. If you get that, I've been through that experience a couple times. But we're looking at Greece right now, possibly for October, and we found some great deals last night. So I don't know if you like to travel. Those are three sites.
I'll look for that email, Jeff. Yeah, I look for a workplace chat. Give me a hookup.
There you go. So hey, and do me a favor too. What is your what's your email that people could get in touch with you if they want to get plugged in with you?
So let me respond. I got a couple people that private messaged me in this chat. But,
sure.
So Jamie Parker. Spell right will be great. I can spell my own name, I promise. I'm trying to type too fast. So one of the quotes that also Jim Rohn has said, and I really like this quote, and I kind of remember it, and it's like so true in your life. Discipline weighs ounces, but regret weighs tons.
Yeah.
And so having the discipline to do some of what we've talked about, having the discipline to do what we've talked about today, guys, it will really help you to not have regret, to not have, because you know what I mean? We always can get through. We always can be regretful of things we haven't done, right? The old saying is you've missed up the opportunity to be a millionaire, like, I don't know how many times, 3 times by the time you're 25. Regret, I wish I'd done this. I wish I'd done that. I wish I'd seen this. I wish I'd taken advantage of that. I wish, right? So, just, make sure that we don't want to create more regrets in your life, right? So whatever it is, you're on this call right now, a regret you're going to have is if you don't implement anything we talked about. I guarantee you'll have some regret because, hey, I got the information. I got the tools. I had someone tell us what to do and I didn't do it. We all do that. How many times have I been told what to do and I haven't done? I've done Rob and Kim Campbell for like ever. And, they have what? In one of their companies that 150,000 customers on one company. At EXP, they have like 1,200 agents or something crazy like that. Yeah. I know them. I have access. I hung out with them for like 7 hours on Saturday. Had fun with them. I know what they're doing, but how many times we don't take advantage of like everything that they're offering, all your connections and stuff. So take advantage. Don't live in regret. I'm typing the grief counselor, and I had a couple people private message me who's the grief counselor. So her name is Sandy, and I put her cell phone in the chat. She is California time. She's in Los Angeles.
Okay.
So we do everything via Zoom. So in fact, I just Zoomed with her yesterday.
Nice.
So yeah, so what questions do we have? I think we still have a few more minutes.
We do. Yeah, we got some time. Questions, comments, just things that resonate with you, things that hit you, whatever. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Anybody? Jackie, I love your smile, by the way. I wasn't able to be on the training that you did here a couple weeks ago. Thank you for doing that. I was out of town that day, but couldn't do it. I did watch the recording, so thank you for jumping in. But what thoughts do you have, real quick? I was watching you through this presentation.
Well, Jamie, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Jamie is my brother from another mother. And Jamie, you'll check your text when we're done. I mean, I'm halfway through and I just love him even more. And he's a man of his word. And guys, I cannot even tell you, I was with him through a lot of the stuff that he went through, and I know. And guys, just pushing through it and just seeing how he does with his family and everything. It's a decision. It is a decision that he's made, and we can all make that same decision just to keep going and know that there's going to be challenges, there's going to be difficulties, there's going to be things that come up, but how are we going to deal with them? We have to put them over here, deal with them, and keep going. And we can't take anything else from what Jamie said. Just remember that he didn't stop. And if he would have stopped, this is something that one of our mentors has shared with us. When you're going through hell, the worst thing you can do is stop and stay there. Yeah. Keep going, go fast.
Keep going. It's not the place to stop.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's awesome.
Be like Rocky, keep going and knock it out,
Very, very cool. Good deal.
James, good job, buddy.
Thanks, Kathy.
Appreciate you coming on. Hey, one thing that when you were talking about the vision board that I thought I'd share, I'm reading this book, Ed Milet's book, The Power of One. And as I was reading it, he was talking about, the RES, the reticular activator, or whatever, y'all know what I'm talking about. So, if you're thinking about, you want a blue car, like all of a sudden, or you buy a blue car, all of a sudden, a blue Corvette, you see blue Corvettes everywhere. You haven't seen them, ever before, noticed them before. And so, when I was reading that, it gave me a different thought around the whole vision board, right? Like for some, especially from a Christian standpoint, I've known some just say, doing vision boards, a little new agey type stuff. And, their Christian, limiting beliefs, have held them back in wanting to do that. And when I was rereading, I've always known, or many years have known about that reticular activator, but I was like, what, that's really, cause it's, it really is our subconscious being awakened, right? With that RES, which made me think about in relations to vision boards, that's really all that is. It's like we are calling forth the things that, we're wanting in our life. It's more about like awakening the subconscious mind, is what it really started making me think about when I was reading that book. So I just wanted to share, since you had mentioned the, vision board, if anybody has any limiting beliefs around like, oh, vision boards don't work, or whatever, or limiting beliefs and because of their spiritual background or what have you, like think of it like that. Think about it, with that, RES, that reticular activator. It just gave me a different mindset, to share with people on that. But anyway, I love, I appreciate you being so vulnerable too, in 2020. You and I go way back, and I walk like Jamie with you through some of that. So I appreciate you being vulnerable and sharing. You're a rock star, real rock star dad and man. And, everything you talked about today is truly, what you practice.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And the vision, to go further off of what Kathy said, I had that experience with that picture in Hawaii that I took that was already on my vision board and didn't realize it. But how it impacts your family sometimes too. Like last summer, my kids were like, Dad, you've had this car on your vision board. They knew I was doing good. But I could never justify the car because it's an extra car, right? There's only one of me. Right? I'm the only one who drives, right? So, and my dream car in high school was a 3000 GT, Mitsubishi 3000 GT. Is how y'all remember those came out? You guys remember? And so I was going to get back. It's been on my vision board like forever. It'd been there. And my son uses that car in his video games. And so he was like, Dad, when are you going to get it, Dad? And he kept bugging me and bugging me and bugging me. I was like, okay. So finally I was like, I'm going to make a decision. So I'm going to go ahead and go. I found one on eBay. I found the VR4, which they only made 1,300 of them. And I went ahead and got it. And I remember I was talking to my mom about it. I was like, yeah, Mom, I got it. And then I justified it. I was like, oh yeah, it's gonna be great for marketing. I'll get to go to car clubs. I get to do that. She said, why don't you just enjoy it that you just bought it? It's okay. It's really okay that you just bought something. You bought something for yourself, and let me see if I can get the camera right. There you go. That you bought something for yourself. And I don't, I drive it every couple of weeks. It's not anything you drive a lot. But it was on the board and my kids were the ones that were like, Dad, when are you going to why you've had it on there for ever? As they'd seen it on my wall for 3 or 4 years. And it wasn't that I couldn't do it. It's that I wouldn't do it. I didn't break the bank or anything. I did spend some money, but it wasn't absurd, but to me, it was absurd to spend money on something I didn't need. To me, in my mindset, I was like, oh my gosh, but I had to realize that it was okay to do that. And I have fun. I took it to a car show, my first one a few weeks ago. I've driven Tail of the Dragon, met some cool people along the way, So it opens up a whole new network of people. My marketing guy calls it tribe. Who's your tribe? So it opens up new tribes that you weren't part of before because you have this car. Even people who have Lamborghinis and Ferraris. I was meeting with a guy who drives those kind of cars. The fact that I had an extra car like that, even though it's not near that expensive, he instantly related to me. We started talking about cars, even though I'm not playing in that league. I have that kind of extra car. But, just little things kind of open those things up. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, that's awesome. A couple of things just before we wrap up. You landed a little bit on that morning routine, and I just want to emphasize that to people. I think, if let's say your first appointment, you got a listing appointment or a closing or a buyer you're meeting with, and it's 9 a.m. and that's your first appointment. Don't get up at 8:15, jump in the shower, take a breakfast bar and a drink and fly out the door at 8:45 so you can be there at 9. That's not the way to start your day. I would just tell you seriously, whatever it is for you, get some time to just get grounded. And for me, and again, I'm like you, and this is not to push this on anybody else. 30 years ago today I became a Christian, so today is my 30th spiritual birthday. So for me, I do start it out every morning. I get up, I read my Bible, I pray either out on my deck or go for a walk or whatever, and then I'm usually in one of these other books. And think about this, guys. If you just take, if you read 10 pages a day of a book that is just about working on yourself, that'll take you all of 15 to 20 minutes tops. But if you did that every day, 10 pages a day, that's 3,650 pages that you read in a year. There's no way that doesn't take you from here to here, up here. You know what I mean? There's no way that's not growing you in some way, shape, or form. And again, you become that person that attracts success to you. This is just what happens with this. There's just some truth in that. But that morning routine, I think, and gratitude, I find myself, sometimes we get focused more on what we don't have as opposed to what we do. And it's real easy to go there, but we, all of us have so much to be grateful for. So to be writing that stuff down, and keeping a journal of that, just make a list, add 10 things to it every day. If you did that every day, my goodness, you just have a book by the end of the year of things you're grateful for, and it does just change the way you think. And it makes the day go better. I'm just telling you, when I get away from that, or if I oversleep or, whatever, I misstep on that, I'm just telling you that day is a different day for me. I'm flying around. I'm letting the day run me instead of me running the day. I think differently. I react differently. My family sees it more than anything, whatever they can tell. So it's just so key. The other thing I would just hit you guys real quick. We'll wrap it up. You mentioned this, what's holding you back right now? What is that? And to think about that and to dig into that, because we all have our things. We all carry our baggage, whatever. We all might have some, lack of forgiveness, whatever, which just leads to bitterness and anger and different things, whatever. And that just weighs us down. Just to think about that, what's holding you back? And maybe that's something where, again, get in touch with somebody. You've got somebody else in your life that just go have a coffee, talk a little bit, get back to Jamie, jump into, his program that he's got here, whatever. So And you can reach Jamie. What I will do, guys, this recording will be up in the workplace group, Freedom Team workplace group, probably within the next hour. You'll see that up there. So you can always watch this again. Jamie at rockinagent.com, ROCKIN, rockinagent.com. And your number, I'll just put it out here, 404-483-7816. He put that in the chat. Get back in touch with Jamie if you want to dig a little deeper on some of this stuff, but it will definitely affect your production and grow your business. You know, it's really easy to think, oh, this is all good, but I need more leads. I need more whatever. I need to know how to, write that contract better. I'm just saying all this will play into that and take your business to new places. So anyway, Jamie, thank you again for getting on here. Totally
Thanks for
appreciate your
having me on,
time.
Jeff.
Guys, give it up for
Thank you,
Jamie
Kathy.
one more time. It was awesome. So guys, just a reminder, we're here every Tuesday with this. Let's see, we do the Freedom Team Concierge Hour. That's every day at 2 Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. Okay, so Kim, or that's on what days? Tuesday, Thursday, right, Kim? On those days, yep. This Thursday, we do have an agent attraction mastermind on there for those of you at EXP who want to learn just how to do more of that. And again, just a reminder, the 31st of this month, Eric's going to be interviewing Glenn Sanford, the founder of the company. So that'll be awesome as well. So keep plugging in with us, guys. If we can help you in any way, we're here to do that. Don't hesitate to reach out. Go to the Freedom Team Workplace group. You can see all these recordings, every one of these. They're all in there, all kinds of stuff. So lots of value add. So guys, thank you very much. Have a great day. Kim, is there anything I need to add before we're done here? We're good? Okay, so I'm going to stop the recording. And thank you, guys. Have a great